guys have played remarkably well on the road the last 3 years since everything sort of happened. Why do you think you guys are able to tune out noise and tune out what's going on and just kind of minimize the moment so well?
I just think that we're concerned about, winning ball games. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I think obviously, we have a great ball club, and I think we put ourselves in, good positions to win. And we just have seemed to come up in big spots and big games and play good baseball. So that's really what it's about. I know it sounds simple, but we faced a lot of great teams, and we handled Seattle really well. And I think the guys are ready to go.
Stay over there with Brian.
When you're preparing for the Yankees, how much of a focus is just not only getting Judge out, but maybe make sure that he comes up in chances to do not as much damage as you can if there's men on base?
There's a gold star next to his name. I mean, he's their guy, and they got a team full of them. But Aaron's had a pretty remarkable historic season. So anytime you face a guy like him, you have to make sure you're just aware of the situation. But it's not so easy when you have Stanton and Rizzo and guys like that have had postseason success hitting behind them. So you just have to do your best to make good pitches, and then from there execute the game plan. And after that, it's really out of your hands.
Up front to your left, Mark.
Lance, given where you were a year ago, the effort and work you put in all this time to get where you are today, how much do you relish being here in this spot?
It's just another amazing opportunity to pitch in the postseason. That's what this game is about. It's about pitching in the postseason, about having opportunities, having moments. Just go out there and do your thing. So we're New York baseball, and especially when I was growing up, I mean, it's the mecca pinnacle of the baseball sports world. So my whole life grew up watching the Yankees, Red Sox, all of those great rivalries, those great teams, and so I'm very excited. This will be my maybe second postseason start in New York, and I've pitched here a couple other times, and I've always enjoyed it.
Go back to Chandler on your right.
You've been here since Javier's come up. I guess watching him mature, what's impressed you the most? And just if you could explain, what makes his fastball so unhittable?
I'm not going to explain what it makes his fastball unhittable a couple hours before he pitches, but I think the thing with Javi is he's just such a good kid, and I have so much respect for him, the way he goes about his business. I mean, he's if he was on maybe a different team or had a different opportunity with another organization, you're talking about a guy who could potentially be at the top of the staff. And here, no matter what his role is or what he's asked to do, I've never seen him not even a drop of a complaint. He just goes and does what the team asks him to do, and he does it and brilliance. He does it brilliantly, I should say. So a lot of respect for him. He's just such a great young pitcher, and is just such a great demeanor about him, and I'm excited to watch him today.
Stay over there with Brian.
Lance, Trey Mancini, when he was brought here, obviously, he had done very well with Baltimore. Part of the reason he's not playing as much is depth issues, but he's back in the lineup today. You know what he can do. What have you observed from him thus far, being around the team, and the potential that he still has to change games for you guys, especially during the playoffs? Well,
Trey was a huge trade acquisition for us. He was one of the guys that, league-wide, I think a lot of teams had identified as somebody who could help an organization continue to win down the stretch. And so for us, as soon as we got him, I think his first couple of hits were homers. And, I mean, he'll tell you, he hasn't played as well as he wants to play. But the beautiful part about October, the beautiful part of these huge moments is that he has the opportunity to wipe all that away. He has the ability to come up big for us today. He's in the lineup against probably one of, if not the best pitchers in baseball. So, Garrett's a heck of a pitcher, and they have a great bullpen. I think one of the most underrated things about bullpens in today's game is just matchups. The ability for teams to match up against hitters, whether the guy coming out is maybe not, the best reliever or not. But if you have a good matchup which I think teams have been identifying over the last few seasons. It makes a big difference with the way that you're set up. And I think the Yankees have an amazing ability to match up guys. And so, like I said, he has an amazing opportunity to be in a lineup for an ALCS in New York Stadium and has a chance to make a big impact for us today.
The third row left center there.
Lance, you've been part of this run the past several years, and you even told us before the playoffs started that a difference this year is the pitching. Years past it may have been the offense that got you guys here. We hear from the guys in the lineup talking about how kind of passing the baton. Can you speak to how maybe the guys in the pen or even the starters can maybe feed off of each other, especially with the performance that we've seen the past couple weeks?
Well, I just think that we have a very talented group. We're a very deep group of pitching. Like I mentioned, I mean, you saw the way, that our bullpen pitched in Seattle. Didn't matter, who the guys were coming up, what the tough situations that they had to face. I mean, the way Luis threw the ball coming out of the bullpen as a career starter, as a young kid, is just incredible. So I made a joke the other day that you could almost just close your eyes and point at a pitcher and ask him to do really any job on the roster that us pitchers are responsible for doing. So it's a blessing to have a pitching staff like we have, and it's just one of those years where things seem like they've timed up and guys are throwing the ball well, and you want to continue that momentum. I mean, we still have a great offense, we still have a great defense, which makes our pitching staff great. Great analytical department, of course, that helps us along the way, but just a lot of talented arms we have.
Go back in the right with Gabe.
Hey, Lance. A lot of talk among your teammates that it's just a matter of when and not if when Altuve starts getting going. What have you kind of learned about him over the years in terms of, I guess, his ability to just bounce back or just do what he does regardless of circumstance?
Well, I mean, Tuve is one of the heart and souls of our team, whether he's 4 for 4 with 4 homers or 0 for 4. And I think the last game especially, you saw a lot of really good at bats. I mean, we're not facing easy guys. I mean, he's not hitting the ball off the tee up there. Seattle was really tough. I mean, really tough. And the job hasn't gotten easier this series. But I feel like as a pitcher who doesn't know anything about hitting, I think his at bats have looked a lot better, and he's just one of our leaders. He's a quiet leader, but just the way he comes to the field every day, you wouldn't know if he's an 0 for 20 something or if he's 20 for 20, and that type of leadership out of him with everything that he's individually been through means a lot for our team, and he's one of the best guys that I've ever been around, just in general as a person and as a teammate. We're lucky to have him.
We'll get the microphone up here to Ron and Barry. Hold on 1 second.
Do you pitch any differently depending on the ballpark? You have the short left field at home, the short right field here.
I think our right field's pretty short at home too. I know there's been a lot of talk about the ball that Aaron hit, but you just got to do the best you can with the stuff you have that day. I'm not going to be able to change my whole game plan, just based off of the way that a park is kind of constructed. I think if it's your home park, potentially, like if I was a pitcher in Boston, I think you could face or attack guys maybe a little bit different. I'm not a guy that throws a lot of four seams, but for example, like I'm not going to risk a four seam away to a lefty in Minute Maid. Maybe in Boston you do, if you have the opportunity or a lead, things of that nature. But I mean, in the postseason, it could be 10-0, but in your mind and in the heat of the game, it's 0-0, and you just have to just roll with the best you got that day. And at the end of the game, we're going to see who comes out better.
Looking back to the Game 7 5 years ago, what clicked in your mind to throw the 24 straight curveballs?
I've said this a couple times. It was funny. I don't really remember who I was facing. I think it may have been Castro. to end potentially the 7th. I'm not 100% sure. It's been years now. But I awkwardly landed on my left hip, and then coming out of the inning, I was underneath the tunnel, and our head strength guy, our head trainer, I should say, Jeremiah, was stretching me out, and we're kind of like seeing how it felt planting. There was just like a weird, like landing spot, I think, just from different guys landing that game, obviously. And I believe it was Headley led off the 8th potentially, and I walked him. And then the next 2 pitches were also balls, and McCann came and talked to me. I just said, man, the leg feels weird on the heater. Like getting over my front side feels weird. And he said, well, let's just try going for the breaking ball. And I threw the first breaking ball, and I was like, oh, that didn't hurt. I threw it again and was like, yeah, that didn't hurt either. And so just kind of kept rolling with it. And that was a special type of night for me and kind of an event. I don't know if I'll be able to top that. I think I'm more of a little bit of a complete pitcher now to rip off 24 in a row, but you never know.
I'll finish it up with Barry before Trey comes in.
Hey, Lance, how's your elbow doing, and what kind of treatment have you had to take the last few days? Were there any stitches, anything like that?
No, so my elbow's fine. I did get hit rather hard with a champagne bottle. Funny enough, trying to leave the celebration, but I did get hit, and I think it was more. There was a small cut, but it was more like bone bruise, swelling type of issues that we were dealing with, and really with those, you just do your best, and you just need some time. So fortunately for us, unfortunately for me, it was after Game 3. We had a couple days off, and then because of when I pitched in the series, and because we didn't have to pitch JV and other guys again, I was awarded the opportunity to have some days on the backside. So I got off the mound yesterday. I felt really good. I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. And when the game gets rolling, we're full go.
How did that happen? Was it thrown or?
No, I think someone was like kind of behind to my left. The real issue, I think it's the bone that I had my Tommy John. So I have a bunch of portals in there, like little holes. And so I think the strike to the bone, it was kind of from like my back left, and it kind of came up this way and hit me on the inside part of my elbow. It's only like an area like this big, and it just smoked me. So it was just like, this is just it's just another week for me, feels like sometimes, but I'm completely fine. I'm feeling good to go. And I'm excited for tomorrow.